Welcome to the RC Roundtable podcast, where we discuss the latest RC hobby news, events, model reviews, and a whole lot more. Howdy-ho, folks. Welcome to episode 188 of the RC Roundtable, featuring a very a celebratory Lee Ray. His,
Hook 'em horns.
Christmas Texan Christmas hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Terry Dunn with a snazzy background there. I like that.
Hey,
going on there.
I'm in the workshop this time, per your request.
Yes.
Yes.
Your collective viewer. So if you hear footsteps above me or the heater or something like that, that's what you get. We'll see how all the ambient noise goes this time. But yeah, it's a little bit more scenic than my office is.
Yeah, looks good. I like that. Some good stuff going on in the back there.
Yeah, mostly you see my ultra micro stuff, but there's a plethora of it.
So and a taco right next to you.
And a taco, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
And my RC Roundtable light that our buddy Sparky made for us.
Yeah, you got. I'm out. I gotta find. Mine's over there somewhere. I think in a corner, buried under some airplanes.
Yeah, I told you guys last time that I had been unpacking some boxes, and that was in one of the boxes I had unpacked. So it's
nice.
Getting its due place.
Is it on? I need to get it out. Well, I don't really know where to put it. Although we both, I guess, for one of the first times in a while, we all have appropriate background stuff in there. For those of you on YouTube, we actually have. Airplanes, model airplanes, RC model airplanes, all in our background. So fantastic. This is actually like a real RC model podcast. Would you know it?
Yeah. After how many episodes now? Oh, yeah. What is this?
187?
Well, more than that, because we've had those special episodes too.
Right.
So we're nearing 200. But also let our listeners know this is going to be a visual show. It's a live YouTube show. We've got some show and tell. So if you're listening, try to keep up. Stop by your nearest browser, pull up YouTube and Facebook, and rewatch the show with us.
And by the way, it's 188 this time around.
Yeah.
Yes, I said 188.
I thought you said 187. Okay.
No, because we haven't had 188 yet. I got that, Fitz.
Oh,
yes. I subtracted one because it's this one we do.
I'm a little slow on the uptake sometimes.
Airplanes,
I was trying to make a funny, and you're trying to use math. Stop that.
I overanalyze sometimes.
Oh, hey, Tony. Yeah, so we got a few people in the chat already. Phil.
Yeah, chime in, guys. Let's start the communications going.
RC
State
Rehab.
your name, your location, and what you want to talk about today. But we do have a lot on our plate. I will start the show off. We've got something that we got to kick things off because it'll be progressing through the show. So Fitz, take it away. Why don't you tell the viewers here what's happening so they can get started, and we'll have to remind people out through the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've been using this thing for how many episodes now? A lot.
Yes, sir, folks. Welcome to my parlor here, and if you've frequented my personal YouTube channel, the Hobby View channel, you may have noticed that I have now my own personal. There you go. Thank you. Personal laser cutter. It is a solid state 22 watt laser cutter. Solid state. 22, not 20.
All the 20s.
All the 20s. So it's so apparently they found ways to cram extra watts into diode laser cutters. And so normally it used to be single digits, 2 watts, 5 watts, that kind of stuff. And so I had an opportunity to get a 20 watter. And this thing is actually really pretty good. It's actually cut better than I thought it would. It's only 20 watts. I don't expect it to destroy planets or anything. But yes, give me all the watts. But for a low profile compact desktop laser cutter, it is actually quite useful. And I did a whole review on it. And so in playing with this thing, we were talking about, well, what can I make? And one of the things we came up with was this guy. And this is a glue holder. So you can actually put glues that I put away. I
Wait,
should have
glue? A glue holder that holds glue? Tell me
It holds
more.
glue. So it does more. Well, not only does it hold glue, so you can actually just slots for epoxy. which you stick in there.
Epoxy. Wow.
And there's slots
Ooh,
for
ah.
oddball kind of. Well, that doesn't fit. Other stuff. It'll fit. Here, I got to pull some out here. Kicker. It'll fit oblong. I forgot to bring one of the other glues. You know the sort of oval shaped glues. They'll fit in there.
Oh yeah,
Various sizes. Bob Smith glues, yes, and also the Starbond, which I use a lot, will also fit in there as
I
well.
use Starbond too.
Yes. So I got a couple of slots for Starbonds. So I made it so that it can accommodate different manufacturers, different sizes. It's got a little hook here. That was not my design. I based it off of some things I saw online that looked kind of neat, and I tweaked it a little bit for my own taste and that kind of stuff. And it came up pretty good. I was able to make it.
What's
on the
the best
cutter.
feature of all? The logo. Look
It's
at
got
that.
a logo. It's got an official RC Roundtable logo on it, and it's got some. Oh, we can't really see. This was a earlier cut. It's got some sayings on the side. Let me grab another one here. I made one. Here we go. So it says, "Thanks for sticking with us" on one side, through thick and thin. So it's a little bit of tongue in cheek. I think. Who came up with it? Was that Terry that came up with these slogans?
I don't mean to brag, but yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah, it's pretty clever. So sticking with us, get it? Glue holder, thick and thin, get it? CA, thick, thin, thick.
Terry gets all the credit. Please give Terry the credit.
So I was really happy that it's something I was able to design up in CAD and play with the laser cutter and stuff. And I was going to do sort of a part 2 with the laser cutter review. And so this was one of the things that I will talk about how I do it. So at some point in the future, I will have a part 2 of my laser cutter review, and I'll talk about the exact process I use to do this, from the design and interpretation and stuff. But I thought, hey, this is so neat. Sorry, I was going to the chat. I got distracted by the chat. But anyways, this is not just a bragging session. We here at the RC Roundtable thinking, hey, we wonder if some of our listeners would be interested in this. So we decided to cut out not one, but 2 of these and give them away to 2 lucky RC Roundtable live viewers on this session. So we will give you a special code that you put in the chat, and we will select randomly 2 people, and we will send them out to you. This is already glued together, so you will get it in pieces. You have to glue it together yourself, because I'm not going to ship it in a box. It'll be much better in a flat pack. You got to do your own glue. But speaking of glue, so not only will you get to the glue holder, but we will include for each one a bottle of Starbond CA, courtesy of Starbond adhesives. They have graciously donated a couple of bottles of glue, or starbond.com, I believe, is it? And one will have thin, one will have thick, to be random. But you will also get a nice package of glue. It comes in a really snazzy package. I took one out to show you. But you've got applicators, some pipettes, and some instruction manuals. I mean, how many glues come with instruction manuals? And some caps, 2 extra caps. So we will. I think Lee has already put it in the chat. It looks like you did.
I haven't yet. I was going to wait for you to do your spiel. You have to do your marketing.
Okay, somebody put something in there for some reason.
But that's wrong. But that's wrong.
That's wrong.
That's
so
not the official.
The
See, he's trying to throw everybody off.
Yeah.
He's trying to give the fake one out so nobody else is. So guys, here is the real one. Yeah, here's the real one. It's much simpler. It's just Caddy. Hashtag Caddy. You've got to put the hashtag. You got to put the word Caddy. And our little system here on StreamYard will keep track of everybody who's done that. You don't have to do it more than once. Once you do it, you're in, like Flynn, and you will be entered to win for one of these caddies with glue. All thanks to Fitz and Starbond, because he did all the work.
I think we have to do the usual exclusions, like U.S. residents. Like, we're not going to mail this thing to Zimbabwe.
Yes.
But yeah, you have to leave a comment, and with that hashtag.
No comment. Continental U.S. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we're not going to ship it to Zimbabwe, or where's that in Garfield? They wanted to ship the dog to some.
Madagascar. There's where they sent the lion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're listening to this after the fact, it's already over.
It's already over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
too late.
this is happening
Ooh.
live.
Yeah.
Because some people go to our live shows. But anyways, so not only that, since the laser cutter's right here, and I've only got one, but it's already built, so I can't ship that to you. We were going to do a live laser cut of one of these, and so I am going to
Hit enter.
hit enter. I'm going to switch cameras real quick. So we will, choose a winner. I guess sometime a little bit later in the broadcast. Lee, is that what the plan is?
Yeah. Well, we want to introduce this to some other people joining in. We have only 9 entries so far, so keep them coming, folks.
So we'll wait for other people to get a chance. Let me switch cameras here real quick.
Yeah, so every now and then we'll cut back. There you go. Let me switch to you full screen there. So
okay,
we'll switch back and forth to the laser cutting, and when we do, we'll remind everybody that to enter to win one of the caddies, hashtag caddy in the chat room. That's all you got to do.
So we'll
How
start
hard
this.
Is that?
Very easy. So we won't keep the camera on all the time. It'll take a little bit to print, but we'll come back to it every once in a while just to show how it's doing. Of course, the first thing I got to do is put on my laser glasses so I don't burn up my retinas. Okay.
Stand by for retina scan.
No. Stand by for a retina scan. Yeah, that's Star Trek 2.
Speaking of Star Trek, we'll have to talk about some names here on the screen.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
So that. Go ahead.
I'm not familiar with the material that you use for this, Fitz, but it looks like it could be stained and or varnished.
Yes, it's just plywood, nothing fancy. Okay. Roughly 1/8 inch plywood I got locally. So you certainly could stain it.
When I get my hands on one of these, I'm probably going to stain it blue.
Ooh, we need idea or paint it.
Or paint it, yeah.
I would highly recommend those of you with kids to give it to their kids to let them paint it for you.
Well, painting will cover up our clever logos.
Well, just put tape over it so it doesn't cover that up. Just say you can't paint here.
So they make blue stain?
Yeah. I've got an airplane stand around here somewhere that's also made out of plywood, and I used green stain on it. It looked really good. So I think they had red, blue, and green when I was looking for it, but you can probably get whatever color you want.
All right. So one of the first things I got to do is I got to put the wood in and then make sure it's lined up. Whoops, what did I hit? Oh, my fat gut hit the space bar on the laptop.
Oh my gosh! For those of you listening, Fitz is manipulating the wood, and then all of a sudden it started like cutting his fingers off. I'm just kidding. It just started. That's awesome.
It's a very dexterous belly button.
Let's not give it full screen mode. Unfortunately, let's just take that back a little bit.
All right.
Let's see if I can at least share there.
Probably the most not tricky, but I need
live, folks. Live. This is what you asked for. Hope you guys are sitting comfortably with a drink and chips and enjoying this mayhem as it happens.
Almost there. One more should do it.
So it scans to see where the material is located on the bed?
No, it I can hit a button and it basically does a frame. It tells me the complete build area. And this is I guess technically I could put maybe a some sort of not brace, we want to call it.
Just like a guide, so you put it in the same place every time?
Yeah, the problem is since I take the thing on and off the whatchamacallit. Okay. One more time and it'll be done. I think it's lined up.
So how critical is that? I mean, is it that close to the edges on the cuts?
Yeah, it's really close to the edge. On the two edges here, it's really close, so I got to get it pretty. So I got to get it. It's done. I'm just gonna touch it and we're done. Because of the way I use the wood, I try to make the caddy as big as I could with that particular size wood. All right, so I've got it framed up, and now what I can do is make sure my glasses are on.
The screen, the whole room goes glowing red.
Here the pump is on. You can hear it a little bit, probably.
No.
Did you start the diesel generator in the background, or pull those 22 watts through the laser?
All right, guys. The mad scientist. I'm going to press the burn button, and we will start. I don't know how well you can see it. Might not be able to see it that well, but Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Wah, 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 wah. Oh, there we go.
There it is.
You can
Look
see
at
it.
the little. Yeah. Oh,
let
my
me,
eyes. Stop.
So it's cutting. I'm going to turn on the fan a little bit here.
Does it do the cuts and the engraving all in the same function?
Yes, but not at the same time. What it'll do the cut first and then the engraving last.
Oh, there's smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loving the comments, folks. Keep them coming. And also, because this is a new technology for some of us, and Fitz has been experimenting, if you are interested in something like this, ask some questions. Fitz will be happy to answer.
Yeah, I can answer any questions. So I don't know. Can you see the smoke?
Yeah, you can see it.
You see, I'll turn the fan off. It might be a little more pronounced.
Fitz is going to have a coughing fit pretty soon. We'll have to mute him.
Yeah, there it is. So it's cutting. It takes it'll take a couple passes over each line. Did I line it up? I did line it up as well. So and that's it. We'll give it that. We'll come back to it in a few minutes. It's cutting and it's burning. And
This is going to be like that 70s show. And they have those scenes where the smoke is all around, and they're
Yeah, these are hemp caddies. Hemp wood caddies. So Ron's asking, what's the cutting speed?
Cutting speed is. Give me a second. I think it's.
You can't handle it.
That's the actual setting.
Yeah, this is going to be a 6-hour show.
Right now, it's 200 millimeters a minute.
All right. So 400 or 4 inches,
It's 200 millimeters a minute at 90% power.
right? So 25 millimeters per inch. And would you say
Yeah.
400?
So that's around 8-9 inches a minute.
Okay, that's not bad.
Ish. Yeah, and that's because it's thick. It can cut faster than anything thinner. Yeah, how thick will it cut? Aircraft ply? Yeah, that's what we're cutting right now. 1/4 inch ply, Matt.
All right.
And it cut 1/4 inch MDF as well.
I would think MDF is probably slower. Is that a denser material or not? MDF is mostly glue, right?
MDF wasn't that bad.
Sawdust and glue.
Oh, yeah, just moved over. Let me go back to the camera.
So just a reminder for those of you who just tuned in, if you would like to win this super special live cutting of a caddy, a special RC Roundtable caddy, put in hashtag caddy in the comments. If you've already done so, you don't have to do it again. Your name's already on the list. So all for new visitors, put hashtag caddy, and we could send you one of these really cool caddies. Show them again, Fitz, the really neat caddy that we're giving away.
I'm just double checking the.
It'll probably include singed hair and fingerprints from Fitz.
Maybe a little blood. Fitz blood. You can have Fitz's DNA. Make your
You
own
can
Fitz.
Stain it with blood, yeah.
There we go. All right. Look at that. That's nice. That's a very, very nice.
So yes, if you put a hashtag, what was it, caddy?
Caddy.
In the comments. Yeah, hashtag caddy in the comments. You get a chance. If you're just joining us, we are giving away 2 of these caddies with the RC Roundtable logo on them, being print on the Algo laser cutter, and each caddy will include a bottle of Starbond CA glue as well.
Thank you, Starbond.
Continental US only, please.
I think that's the closest thing to a sponsor we've ever had.
Yeah. Give a shout out to Starbond adhesives, and for supporting this. And you can see that they cut it on the side. So we'll let me change cameras back here. So
Well, that's about as exciting as soccer.
yeah, it's not terribly fast, but there you go.
Starbond.com. And I have a couple of sets of these glue, and they're really good. I think I bought one of these kits. The one with the spray. There we go. That one right there.
So again, if you're just joining, I did a review of this laser cutter on my RC Hobby View channel. It's not that long ago. You can go to the videos and look in the history. And I did I tried cutting a lot of different things, a lot of different thicknesses. So if you haven't seen that, go over there, and it may answer a lot of your questions. I also tried 2 different pieces of software with it as well. So looks like Matt had another question. How hard would you just engrave?
Go ahead and say the question out loud for the people who
Okay,
don't have the benefit.
so Matt's asking a question. Says, how hard would it be just to engrave a center line for a firewall? Some kits are laser cut, but they don't put a center line on the wall.
Seems like it would be easier just to measure and draw it with a pencil.
Yeah, it would be easier to measure and draw. So technically, yes, you could do that, but to do the setup and get it aligned and everything, you could have just drawn it 10 times or more.
Yeah, if you were cutting your own design firewall, great, include that in the design. But yeah,
right.
To add that to one that's already cut is more overhead than it's worth. Unless you're doing 50 of them.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was going to make a thing to speaking of centerline, I was actually going to make a little plate to put on my Bearcat to line up to center a line and kind of do that, kind of do what he was talking about. And I realized I can just do it by hand a lot faster. Just a couple of 1, 2, 3 blocks and some sticks in the plywood, and it's done. So it's one of those things that yes, it can do it, but it's like going out and designing and milling and machining and forging a hammer versus just going out and hitting it with the back of a screwdriver.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to talk about our handles for tonight?
Yeah.
All right, Lee, you start.
No, you guys have them. Mine's unique.
I guess. All right, so mine is Weird Flight, which is that my Instagram handle?
YouTube.
No, YouTube. It's my YouTube handle from a long time ago. But now it's also my AMA number. I'm putting my new AMA card, which I got in the mail today.
Probably see if I can push you center line. There we go.
Yeah. There we go. So yeah,
you got a card.
Did you get your card yet, Fitz?
I didn't get it. I have a temporary card.
Did you just draw with a marker over your old card?
No,
you can go online and get it.
Yeah, you can go online and it'll come up with a screen. Just print out temporary card, which I did.
Yeah.
And mine has you probably can't really see it very well. Can you see it?
Hold on, I gotta push you over. No.
Yeah, it's out of focus.
Well, let me try the other camera.
You gotta hold it in front of the laser.
Yeah, cut it up.
Laser gave your card.
About
it's white.
It's kind of washed out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's washed out.
All right.
All right, so that didn't work. So I don't know if you can see it. Maybe it's a little better, but it's blurry.
Well, it's on the screen right now. So just say what it is.
It's NCC 1701. Who in the chat knows what that is?
Oh,
I'm sure somebody does.
Let's try it that way. Who doesn't know?
Okay, actually, Rehab does.
Yeah.
Yes. So NCC 1701, of course, is the registration number for the USS Enterprise from the Star Trek series. And I'm a big Star Trek fan. And I thought, well, that'd be cool. It's actually kind of a pseudo aircraft registration number, like NC 1701. And so, in fact, I understand the history of this number in part was they wanted something like a U.S. Navy or aircraft registration. And they just added an extra C to it because it was, in the future. And there's all kinds of guesses where the 171 came from. But yes, no bloody A, B, C, or D. This is the original Star Trek Enterprise. So I thought, that'd be a cool, and I can put this number now on my aircraft, NCC 1701, and that would be legal because that is now my AMA number. I guess we should explain this, Lee. Did we really explain what this is all about?
Yeah, so I did put in the chat, if you are on Facebook, the link will take you to our post. I mean, I think you don't have to actually be a Facebook user to pull it up because it's our public page for AMA. But we do have an offer that you can change your number to a call sign. It has to be 10 characters, so it's numbers and letters. And we do have a form that you can go to. It's modelaircraft.org/call sign. And you will submit 3 requests. They have to be clean, folks, just to make sure you're not advertising something bad. And also that it's unique. And for $50, you'll change your ID. It's basically an administrative fee because they'll reprint your card, mail it to you. And if you're a life member, you can get a new brass plate as well for yours. Now mine, I'm just going to switch my screen real quick. I didn't change mine because my card has an L. If you're a life member, you can get the L on your number for no charge. It's part of the lifetime fee. But that's special to me because it's a 5-digit number and it's one off from my dad. But I mentioned on AMA Air, if any of you guys knew this, the after going through the records, I vaguely remember my dad changing a couple of his membership IDs to his ham call sign. So his is actually K5WLJ. And I thought, that's really cool. I completely forgot he did that, but it doesn't affect me. I'm keeping my 5-digit number. I'm proud of that 5-digit number, but it is something you can do. So have fun with it. Mean Joe is Mean Joe 01. I believe that's his, or Joe Mean Joe. And we've had some other unique names I can't share with you because we got to keep them because I don't have permission to share them all. I have some great ideas too. So if you want to hit me up for some, I got a couple in my head. I'm like, how did someone not take these names? They're not taken yet. But do take advantage of that. So go to the link in the chat and take a look at the offer. Again, $50 and it's yours indefinitely. So, and then you can put that anywhere on your aircraft. It's a lot of fun.
So go ahead.
I had talked my buddies into changing their numbers to these unique names.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah, I had no idea they did that. Although I do have a question: what happens to my old number? Did it get reassigned, or
it does not get reassigned? So I was told that they do not go back to numbers to redistribute them. So they always progress into a higher range. The only time they'll give up your number and here's what I was told, if it's to a family member, so someone in your family who wants to have that number, or if it's for a life member or a leader. So in case they're requested for those numbers, and it might be a birth date or something like that. So you may have just a number that's unique that way. But otherwise, they don't just go out randomly. So for some reason, you change your mind. You don't like the Enterprise anymore, Fitz. You could go back to your number. Don't recommend that.
Yeah, kind of like my old number was kind of neat. Actually, I had another number before that. I mean to ask you if you could look it up or something. I had a number when I first joined AMA. I had a number, and I let it lapse, and I joined again. I didn't know I could request my previous number, so I got a different number. And I'd be curious if it's the same number of digits. I have no idea. I don't remember what it was, but I know I had a number of something back.
Well, when they changed the database over in like around 1990, they didn't have the archival ability, so they just basically did the transfer, but they couldn't look up anything before that. So then once the numbers came across, they stuck. So it was before
right
that.
On the line.
Don't think
it was. It's right on the line. It'd either be a year or two before, or a year or two after that. So,
hey, Fitz, something's burning behind you. Something behind you smoking. It's the lipo.
All right, I got a couple questions. Let me change that. I've got one question and one comment. My comment is, with those glasses on, Fitz looks like LeVar Burton. Or is it just me?
No.
Okay.
But you know what? If they made the laser glasses that look like Geordie's, they would sell like hotcakes.
Oh,
so we are on to something.
Yeah.
All right. So my question, and this is for you, Lee, and the Facebook thread that was talking about these the AMA number handles things. George asked an interesting question. The call sign, thank you. George asked an interesting question. If your new call sign is compatible with your old number. So say you've put up a bunch of labels to go on your models that have your old number. If you get, for whatever reason, you talk to the cops with this new RID nonsense or whatever, if you need to reference do you need to change your labels is what I'm saying.
I don't think you do. I don't work in the membership department, and I don't know how they're tracing back to those numbers. They could be I did look up like my dad's number and I couldn't find it right away. So there could be another database that looks up old numbers or ones that have been changed. But they told me that since they're not given away, they're obviously protected. So if you just choose not to take the numbers off, I'm almost certain that if you contact or someone contacts the AMA with your number, they'll be able to look it up.
Okay. I'm just wondering if there's some sort of link there that when they pull up the new one, it just automatically says, oh, this was the old one too.
I did not see, like when I saw Fitz's to confirm, I did not see two numbers. It was just to NC 1701.
All right. And another thing that popped in my brain, you were talking about your dad's handle or his call sign being his ham call sign.
Mhm.
So we received an email yesterday from someone, and they, first of all, they answered a question from the last episode about blow-in cheater holes, and he said that the Harrier has those, which makes a lot of sense. I wonder if that only does that for vertical flight or if it works on horizontal flight too. But anyway, and after answering that, so after answering that, he pointed out that he sent us an email months ago that we did not respond to. Sorry about that. And if anybody listening now has sent us an email we didn't respond to, sorry, it's not you. It's us. Yeah, mostly me. But so I've been delegated that task because I suck at it slightly less than they do. But anyway, his question was about FPV, and that reminded me, I didn't mention it in our response to him, but if you're running FPV gear, you're supposed to have a ham license because virtually all FPV gear is not FCC certified, which puts you in that category of needing a ham license. I think mine is either expired or ready to expire. You get 10 years, right? And I think I did it in 2013. So I need to either re-up mine or decide whether or not I'm going to actually continue FPV or not worry about it. 99% of FPV flyers.
It's funny you say that because it reminds me of my renewal, because I have a ham license. Renewing my ham license, it was several years ago. I will say that even though mine expired, I was able to renew it. There was like another, what do they call it? Not a lapse period or
a grace period or something?
Grace period, thank you. So I was within that time frame, and I think I just renewed it. I don't think I had to take a test or anything because I think it also changed because I was a Tech Plus at the time.
Okay.
So I got it renewed, and I got the form in the mail, and I was like, I put it next to my old one, and I accidentally shredded the new one.
Go.
And it was one of those things like you put in the shredder, and you're going, what was that date? And so I actually had to pull it all out, tape it together to send them a photocopy to get the other one sent.
What kind of horrible shredder do you have where you actually put it back together?
It's just the straight edge. I mean, it took me a while. Don't get me wrong. It's like, but I did it immediately, so everything was kind of lined up. But oh my gosh, I just like, what was I thinking? I should have put a big X on the old one, but I digress. So, but yeah, I still have mine.
Just remembered when I lived in Connecticut, they were the next town over. The amateur radio.
Mm-hmm.
Was it what's their official name?
Here in Houston,
ARRL?
ARRL.
Yeah, amateur radio relay league or something like that. Yeah. I've driven past their building several times. And it took me to the headquarters of the amateur radio organization. They were next there. I think it was Newington, Connecticut, if I remember correctly. And it was just like really, literally like the next town over from where I lived. And I never got around to getting a ham license till I moved half a country away and finally got mine. But it's funny, a small world in some ways.
Yeah. So I think Fitz is in Claymation tonight. Are you saying the same thing, Lee?
Yeah, I was about to put this up there.
Did I freeze up again?
Yeah.
It'll clear up in a minute. Give it a second.
Yeah, it'll get better.
I think it's time to get. Everybody start leaving comments and tell Fitz to get a new camera. Or put in fiber or something. Because
are you hardwired in your garage now?
No, but I put another mesh network. It's weird. Sometimes it runs really well, and sometimes it's a little funky. I don't know what's going on with it, but
today is funky.
I'll rearrange it's actually the first time it's actually done anything. Usually the past couple times it's worked fine. So maybe somebody moved something or I got to double check.
You're not holding your
what?
Froze again. I was like, you're not holding the aluminum foil right.
No, but I got to double check that I moved one of the mesh routers into the living room, and I have a certain family member that has a habit of unplugging things. So I may have to double check.
But it's so cool. I still like the idea of making Jordy glasses. Yeah, you sound great.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Michael. So, Michael, you're late, so we'll review real quick what's happening in the background. We have a little giveaway going on right now. So if you put in hashtag Caddy, we are giving away 2. Oh, look at Fitz. He was so quick on that. Let me see if I can pull him over there. There we go. Fitz is live printing one of our giveaway items. We have 2 super glue caddies that we're giving away. Oh, dun, 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 dun. And if you enter to win, we will call one out as soon as this was done printing, and then we'll start printing a second one. And by the way, when you enter the first time, you don't have to restart for the second giveaway. It'll already stay in the system.
Cool. All right, are we ready to talk about events and such?
Let's do
right.
that, shall we?
Well, I don't have events to talk about, but you guys do.
Oh, well, I'll start while Fitz is doing that. I don't know if he's got his plane, the plane, in the background.
The plane.
The Val.
Oh yeah, it's in the background. It's right there behind my head.
Oh, there it is. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell. So Fitz and I went to Space City RC in Caddy, Texas over the weekend. We've been to this event several times. It's the Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day event. And I wouldn't say it's somber. It's celebratory to get together and enjoy the hobby. But we do in the afternoon read a story about what happened that day. And it's been a nice tradition for Fitz and I. I think we've gone, 4 or 5 times, Fitz?
Yeah, a bunch of times.
And I've been under the weather. I'm still a little dragging through the weather, but I didn't feel much like flying. I did put a plane in my car, but I showed up just to support Fitz. And by the way, Fitz, do you have the show and tell stuff that I gave you at Pearl Harbor? Is it nearby, the bag? The little white bag of goodies I gave you? That'd be a good show and tell to talk about
it
today.
might still be in the car.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sorry.
So I was delivering goodies to Fitz, but I do have some photos I wanted to share. If y'all haven't seen them already on our Facebook page, please go see our Facebook page, facebook.com/RC Roundtable. And let me pull some of the photos up. But it was okay. I mean, we've had bigger events and the weather was questionable. We had expected winds of 30 gusts. So,
yeah, it was supposed to be gale force, but
yeah. And it looked kind of hairy at times while we were out there, but we had a lot of fun. I did not bring my video camera. We tried to do, by the way, did you know that, Terry, that we tried to do a live stream? Were you aware?
Yeah, you sent me a text that morning saying Facebook was cutting you off.
Yeah. Fitz, I don't remember who the gentleman was talking to you, but y'all had a nice chat about the Val and stuff, so grabbed a photo of you too.
I forgot, but he had a nice big 0 in his trailer.
Like a drink.
Snazzy. Yeah.
Everybody see Fitz's new shirt? Little Hobby View shirt?
Yeah.
He's styling.
Got my Hobby View swag.
So we had a lot of planes. I mean, it was any warbird, honestly, but typically they ask if you're going to come to this event, fly something that would have flown in the Pacific. So
fair.
Try to keep with that theme. And there were some Piper Cubs there, which there were technically Cubs, in the Pacific, but maybe not that one. But we had a great time hanging out there, watching the planes fly. Zeros, Fitz's little happy place. But sadly, Fitz could not get his Val to run. And that's our buddy, Randy Larson. He's such a great MC. If you guys haven't met Randy, or if you haven't been to Bomber Field, during the big B-17 event, you got to come. Randy's just a great MC. Guys,
he's highly entertaining.
Slightly? Only
no,
slightly? Oh, highly. I didn't say slightly. I just figured you were being sarcastic. No, he's really good. He's always very generous to talk about the pilots that are out there and having a good time. So we did that. We hung out. And again, sorry about your Val, but you're gonna fix it, right?
Yeah. It's I actually ordered some parts for it already. I'm waiting for it to come in. So it seemed to have a problem pulling fuel. So that means it's either one of 2 things: either something in the fuel in the tank, maybe the what do you want to call it? The filter or something is wrong, or the diaphragm in the orbital carb is old. I was talking to Terry. We were trying to guess how old the engine was, and it sounded like it was old enough that could be the issue. So just because I ordered a new rebuild kit for the carburetor,
because you like it, it's probably a good idea to change the fuel lines out or something that old.
I want to go into the tank anyway, so I'm going to do 2 things. Usually you're supposed to do one thing at a time, but those 2 things should be safe. To go redo the plumbing, because I don't know how stiff the clunk is either. I don't know what kind of fuel was used before I started flying it, so it may be that it needs to be a new filter and some other stuff in there anyways. So I'll go through it and clean it up and get it ready.
Right. Well, if it matters, I can put you in touch with the previous owner. who could probably give
Yeah.
you history on it if you
It
wanted.
it may be a good idea just to get his opinion how long the engine has been around. That way, get an idea. It's a good engine. It's a good running engine. In fact, I think the last couple of times, or once or twice, it was a little hard to start at first. So it's probably giving me a warning that if something was going on. Once it started, it ran fine and it would restart fine. But the first start of the day was giving me some issues. So that's
I
probably
assume
what it was.
you're using ethanol-free gas.
I do, yes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know what he used.
I'm sure. Yeah, he was very meticulous about his stuff. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But
the
if it's
one,
old enough, it may have just. I don't fly it that often, so it may have just. I'm sorry. What was it, Terry?
Well, I was going to say that's the airplane with the surfboard-size wing that Lee transported from Edgewater Air Park all the way down to Texas for you.
I love that Fitz still has the Band-Aids on the wing.
Yeah,
I got home safely all the way into my garage until I put the wing against the wall, and as I turned around, it just went whack, put a dent in the leading edge, and I put Band-Aids on it, and Fitz kept them. American flag Band-Aids. That's even better. So
I still don't know. We probably couldn't repeat it, but however we got plywood overcast and this airplane in your car, along with all the stuff you guys already had in there. Yeah, there was not 1 cubic inch of spare volume in there.
Yeah, so. Your math finally came to play. All the little calculations in your head.
All those
I'm gonna follow up on something real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. But one thing that they gave away were these little towels. So I don't know if you got one, Fitz, but I got a nice little Space City towel.
I didn't really fly. Well, I flew briefly, but somebody else is playing. I felt bad about picking it up because I didn't get a chance to fly my airplane. I guess I should talk about that. So there's a guy there. We were at the other side, and I hear. I was like, I know that sound.
Oh yes, yeah.
It was an 049 powered plane, and some guy had it was nowhere near a Warbird. It was I think a Piper Cherokee, maybe one of those Hurricanes or something. But he had brought it out. It had a Norvell 049, and it was flying around pretty good. And Chris was flying it. Chris Dunham, I think his name. Dunn. Excuse me. Yeah, Chris Dunn was flying around. It had a throttle on it and wheels. They did a ground takeoff, flew around and landed, taxied back. I thought, that's pretty neat. I just gravitated over because I thought it was neat. The guy says, "Hey, you want to fly it?" Like, does a bear do his business in the wood? So I said, "Hey, yeah." So he refueled it up and he let me try it. And I did a takeoff. It was a little touchy on the elevator. I think the CG.
That's how you like it.
That's how I like it. But it flew good. In fact, my flight was a little better than Chris's because we tweaked the mixture a little bit. It was a little rich when he flew it. So we cleaned it out just a touch, and it was a little more power. I coaxed a loop out of it and flew it around and landed it. And so it was just neat to see fly a little 049 and see somebody had one. So that's the only thing I flew with somebody else's plane. So, but that was just neat to see that there. To kind of give me an idea, I have speaking of zeros, I have a little zero I got at one of the of all places, Best a couple years ago, and it's half built. It's a wood kit. I thought, man, that might make a good candidate to stick a little OS 10 on it or something. Fly a little hand launch glow plane just for giggles. I've got enough electric zeros. Maybe a little glow one just for giggles.
Well, I keep trying to get you to build a roof out of one of those zeros. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, that's the other one. I'll do a roof. It's a little bigger.
Okay.
I'm not going to do a little hand launch one, but yeah, I have another. Hey, that might be a good candidate for laser cutter. Cut out some floats.
Sure. I've got my foam cutter here too. So.
Yeah, maybe another candidate for some foam.
Yeah.
We're going to talk.
For those who don't know, the roof was the float plane version of the Zero.
Yeah.
Center line and then 2 tip floats, something like that. All right.
I'm interjecting here. I'm just going to do a shout out for my buddy Chuck Clausen. He's another photographer here in Texas. We work together to do photos for events here. He's a good buddy, but I need to get him to learn how to create an album because he posted 140 pictures of the Pearl Harbor event, but you can't look at the whole thumbnail list. You have to go through one at a time. And I'm sitting there going, where is that plane Fitz is talking about? I wanted to show you, but I'm like, I'm up to 80. I'm like, I'm tired. I can't go any further.
Oh yeah. I took a picture on my phone, but I didn't upload it. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, but I did get a photo of that. I wanted to add one more thing that I got at the event. So I gave Fitz something. Fitz gave me something. Only you guys are going to be so jealous.
Ooh.
Look at that. Look what I got, man.
So
High voltage.
No,
That's what I'm going to say from now on. High voltage. This is Fitz's new Hobby View logo. His little profile photo logo. Look at that.
Cool.
Yeah, some bugs and
Thanks,
stuff. Yeah.
Fitz.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Little shout out for you, buddy. I know a lot of people know you because of Hobby View. You sound familiar. I know that voice.
Yeah. Somebody at the Pearl Harbor event recognized me.
They did.
The guys you were talking to. In fact, you had a story about them. He apparently had been to my channel. Your P38 guys. You can
Oh
tell
yeah.
us about-
So Alex and his son Nico.
Oh,
Here's a
yeah.
fun.
I meant to ask about that, Lee.
I can share it real quick. I don't have any photos or anything. So, interestingly enough, while we were at the event, and I did bring my little cheap Banana Hobbies P38. I threw it in the car. Wasn't sure I was going to fly, but just had the time. And poor Fitz couldn't fly, so I was like, "Oh, I think I'll take a quick flight." And I did. And when I landed, this father-son came up to me, and the father was like, "Boy, my son really likes your warbird. Can you tell me more about it?" And I shared the story. He goes, "Hey, is it still available?" No. Can you what's the story about it? And we had a nice chat. And when he walked away, I was like, man, I like this kid. It's like this kid's going somewhere, right?
You like the
And
shape of his
I don't know.
chip?
Well, I don't know if you saw me, Fitz, but I started running after him, and because I was starting to pack to go, and I just said, look, I got a story for you. It's like I have another plane that's just like this one. It's not Flightline. I don't know why I said Flightworks. It's the Flightworks Red Bull. And Terry had given that to me, and I flew it. It's flown at JSC, and but it hangs beautifully in my workshop. And I was like, man, this kid just he just really had an interest in it. I said, look, let's talk. Here's my number. Call me. Let's see if we can make a deal. I can get this get this P38 in your hands. So the next day we met, talked to him and his son. I showed him the controls and everything, and I sold it to him. Plus, I gave him another plane. Because this kid's getting started. And my feel-good story for all you out there is that you got to find either the father and sons or the mother sons or mother daughters and etc. Kids who have that interest and help them along. And it really was one of those super emotional feel-goods for me. Ryan was like, why'd you sell the P38, Dad? I was like, son, you never flew it. You're a B-25 guy. Shut up. I'll get you a B-25. He'll be just fine. But my kids they have their aircraft. They're very happy with what they got. And I just thought, man, I'd love to see this kid, get into the clubs and see him flying and like, Chris Dunn and Grant Schroeder start real young and be incredible warbird pilots. So it was we started a new friendship. We become friends on Facebook, and I'm looking forward to joining them at our club someday because I invited them as a guest. And I told him very carefully, I said, look, you're not there yet. I said, I want you to, be really proficient in flying other airplanes before you fly the P38 because you want to keep it. You want to fly it. You want to enjoy it. Let's get you up there and trained, and then you can start flying it. But I gave him an early Christmas present, and his dad was just super, super appreciative. So there's my Christmas story.
Cool. So he already flies something a little bit.
He flies little things. He's training right now. So giving him an extra little plane. It's that Cox Easy B that I convert. That's converted with a Cub wing. You've seen it, right?
Oh, it sounds very familiar. But
yeah, I mean it flies. It flies really well. It's a nice little plane. It's got motor, ESC. It just needs a battery and a receiver. And so I said, look, go have fun with this. Get used to flying, and then long yada yada yada. Yes, he's going to get there. I'm going to see a lot of him, I'm pretty sure, at our club.
All right, cool. And your heart grew 3 sizes that day.
Yeah, Cindy was like, you sold a P38? Are you okay? And honestly, Terry, the good thing is it's that pass it on. It's paying it forward. And you did it to me, and I appreciate it. I'm doing it for another young kid. But also, my Tiger Cat's going to go perfect where it was. So I'm actually kind of happy because now it'll hang just perfect for the Tiger Cat.
Nice.
Hey, we're getting close, right? Is that what you were trying to suggest?
This is the final step. It's doing the engraving of the logo. This is the last
All right,
part.
so why don't we do it right now? Why don't we do the giveaway right now at the last phase of it? So let me pull up the little tool here.
So are we going to give away one now and then the next one when it's completed?
Yeah.
Or will we be here that long?
That.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be here that long. Will
Well, No,
If not,
we won't. No, we'll give it away before we close. No, we'll just let the other one print, and we'll wrap things up at the end of the show. Because we're already at 50 minutes, so we gotta move things along. So, are we ready?
All right.
all flutter.
Dun, 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 dun.
See this little button right here? 3, 2, 1. Winston Chung from YouTube land. So Winston, do us a favor, send us an email to contact@rcroundtable.com right now. Give us your contact information so we can reach out to you, find out your mailing address, and Fitz the Freeze Walker will send you the first caddy of the hey. So, all right. So, but hey guys, stay there. We got another one to give away, and we may have one other thing to give away. We may.
What? You always have surprises, Lee.
Surprise, surprise. Good job. All right, Winston, good job.
All right.
What are we going to talk about next? Well, are we going to look at that piece when it's done, or are we just...
Yeah, I'll pull it out.
He'll pull it over.
Show you how it goes together.
Terry, why don't you bring us... you said you had some show and tell.
I do. I have a couple things here. The last time we talked, we did workbench stories. My report was that my workshop was my workbench story. I'd just been doing lots of organizing and things like that. I'm still in the middle of it. But in the meantime, I've picked up a few actual RC projects to work on. So one of them is right here. So we talked several episodes ago about the RC10 and how Associated Electrics is coming out with a vintage version of that, which has a silver chassis and clear Lexan suspension components. When they announced that, I signed up on their mailing list to be notified when some become available. That happened, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. And they sent me an email that said, we've got the first batch of these available. Go order yours. After 6 days, time's up. And so within 10 minutes of getting that email, I went to the website and it said, too late, they're all gone. And not only that, but the price had gone up to like $400. And I'm like, yeah, like that's a lot of money for one that is definitely going to sit on the shelf. I mean, it's pretty and it's cool, it's nostalgic, but $400, that's kind of a steep price tag. So from that, I'm like, you know what? I've got some RC10 components already. I'm just going to hack something together out of what I have. And so I'll show you. I've got two RC10 chassis. They're both from back in the day, so they've been drilled out and hacked on. I worked on my RC cars like I worked on my RC planes. I'm always modifying things. So the odds of me having a box stock anything are very slim. But I'll show you the other one I've got here. It's almost complete. It's got the old 6-gear transmission in it. It's got shocks. These are not Associated shocks. I think these are from England. I don't exactly remember. But it's got most of the front suspension components and then stock shocks in the front. But you can tell it's missing this battery box in the front. I don't know how the Velcro got there. I don't think I did that. But anyway, it's got Velcro, and then where this bulkhead is here, there's...
Wait, is it fuzzy or is it loop?
This is fuzzy. Come on.
Well, then it's got to be you.
I'm the only person in the universe.
Come on, folks, be with me there. Hook's got to be on the machine.
But also the edges are cut, not square, and
that's you.
That gives me twitches to see that. So I can't imagine me cutting this. And also on this bulkhead here, there's kind of a ridge around there that's supposed to hold the back end of the battery, and that's been cut off. So in the interest of salvaging this, you can probably find all these components out on eBay or any of the RC10 fan groups, but some of this stuff fetches ridiculous prices now, just like crazy prices. But somewhere along the line, somebody mentioned that some of these parts are available on Thingiverse that you can print. So sure enough, I searched and I found the design for the battery box. Yeah.
You're reading my mind. I was like, I wonder if somebody 3D printed it on Thingiverse or something.
Yep. Yeah. So I printed this, and it's PLA, which it's obviously a lot more brittle than the nylon that it originally was. But I'm not going to be erasing this thing, so I don't think it's going to be a problem. It should be just fine durability wise. But so the good news in this, I've got my Ender 3 that I bought when I still lived in Buffalo, and I haven't used that for probably 3 years or more. I put it on the desk, plugged it in, and it worked. All I did was a little leveling of the bed, and I had good prints. So
nice.
I was worried there's going to be a whole
Punch you right in the mouth.
Well, the fact that I've said that out loud now assures that my next print will go badly. But I also found files for that bulkhead, that rear
Look
bulkhead.
at that.
Yeah. So I actually printed 2 of these. The first one I did with like a 30% infill, and it felt a little weak. So then I did 100% infill on one.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 hours, and I've got this part that I need that I don't know how much it would cost me to find one on eBay, but I mean, this cost me pennies of PLA. And for what I'm trying to do, I think it'll be fine. So I'm pretty confident that I can print the parts that I don't have and have a complete RC10, the old school RC10. So I'm excited about that. And there are companies that are still making reproduction bodies in that old style. And yeah, so I think for the level of detail that I'm wanting, I should be able to achieve that here. One question for you guys, and I'm pointing to Fitz and Lee and also anybody listening / watching. On this one, the original nylon components are kind of yellowed. And from what I understand, there's techniques for returning it to the original color. Not the dyed pieces, but just the ones that are still natural nylon. Is there a way to recover the original color that
I have seen people do that. And I want to say peroxide. I could be wrong. I don't think it's blue.
Yeah, I think it's a
I wanna say it's
hydrogen
peroxide.
peroxide solution in water and on a UV light. Look up Retro Bright.
retro?
That and yeah, because they've done it for computers and toy parts. But go look on YouTube for toy restoration. Boy, there's some really cool videos on people that do that.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of. Maybe I was watching 8-Bit Guy or something where he had old keyboards or old components that had yellowed and he restored them. I assume those components are polystyrene or something like it.
I don't know. It's styrene. I think it's a different type of plastic, but it may work.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's worth looking into. So if anybody out there in podcast land knows of some techniques specifically for nylon 6.6, let me know. I'm interested to try it out on these components. So, all right. So that was the first thing. I've got 3 just to prepare you mentally for this. The second one is I bought a new airplane, and I had to go to Minneapolis a few weeks ago to pick up my son from school. And so, of course, before I went, I checked Facebook Marketplace to see if there are any deals to be had around Minneapolis. And I found one that was interesting and ended up picking it up. And here it is. Can you see all of it? I might have to back up.
It's pretty big.
Yeah.
It's like a giant,
It's like a vapor.
Yeah, giant vapor.
But 3 times the size. This is a 31.5-inch wingspan. I don't know what a vapor is, but it's tiny. So it's probably like 3 times what an actual vapor is. And it's an old airplane. Come to find out, I thought it was one called the Butterfly. This is not a Butterfly. My buddy Thayer found some documentation just yesterday. And this is a plane that was manufactured and sold by Hobby Lobby, I think, in 2006. And it's called the Cobweb. And it's carbon fiber construction with some plastic pieces for the joiners here. And I'm not sure what the covering is, but it's something like an iron-on film, but not quite. And yeah, just very simple, 3-channel. And where do I want to go with this? When I got it, it was not in great shape. So I want to show a couple pictures here. Come back to this. All right, so let's see if we can share my screen. Bear with me. Okay, here we go. So some interesting things here on this model. When I got it, this is the motor mount. And
There we go.
Oh, can you see it?
I was trying to move things around. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is the motor mount when I got it. And I'll try to describe it for the benefit of those only listening. It's a hodgepodge of hardwood sticks, hot glue, and zip ties.
That's about accurate. That sounds about right.
Like, I literally couldn't tell where each of the wires were going. So,
Wow.
it's a carbon fiber tube. It was the entire fuselage. And to put a brushless motor mount on the front.
Terry, you can zoom in a little bit more. Do you see the zoom button up top? I think it says it's 61%. So you might be able to give us some more eye-popping.
Or a mouse
popping,
wheel
view.
might do it as well.
Yeah. See it right there? Yeah. See? Yeah. Oh, there we go. More, zoom.
Enhance.
I'm ready for my close-up. Stop!
So what is the motor mounted
Oh my
to?
gosh, that's awesome.
Just glue and wood? What the?
So this is a Rimfire 200, which is a little indoor-sized brushless motor. And it's got an X mount, but it's not an X mount. It's only got arms on two sides. And so basically what they did is they hot glued a couple pieces of hardwood on either side of this carbon fiber tube. Can you guys see my cursor?
I can.
Okay, so this is all hot glue here, and then they wrapped the whole thing in these zip ties. I'd already cut off one zip tie here. That was holding this motor mount on, along with the glue. So I guess it worked. I mean, it was still attached when I got it, but it was just pretty crude, and hot glue.
You think?
Stuff, and they were not shy with it. And the other interesting thing is you can see just these wires that have no apparent purpose. Let me go to my next photo here.
All it's missing is duct tape.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bubble gum is already on it.
And that's not necessarily a big deal. I've done some crude things before, but this being a super lightweight indoor model, I was thinking I should be more weight conscious than usual here. So that's how I approach this. Now, you can see in this image, am I still sharing my screen here? Yeah. Let me zoom in some. The speed control is back here a little bit, and this is a 15 amp. It's a Castle speed control, but it's a 15 amp, which is way overkill for this. And you can see that the leads coming from the speed control are plenty long enough to reach the leads coming from the motor. But for whatever reason, they inserted a 6-inch servo extension. They soldered a servo.
I'm looking at the connector right now. They're not even the right connectors, are they?
Right. So they cut off the female, soldered that to the leads from the speed control, and then the male is still on here. And let's see if I've got a close up. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure what this pin connector they put on the motor is, but it doesn't really fit the servo connection.
No.
You know what those are? Those look like integrated circuit standoffs.
I'll bet they are.
Yeah.
And you can see the hot glue on the back that was keeping that together. Because when I popped that hot glue off, the connector kind of shot out. So anyway, so it was just a less than ideal situation. You've got at least 6 extra inches of 22 gauge wire in the middle of this circuit that was just kind of wrapped around and bundled up. Very inefficient connection.
Yeah,
so,
I was wondering how much power you lost doing that.
So I'm not saying any of this to make fun of the person who did this. I mean, whatever, we all have different skill sets. But to me, I'm like, ooh, that's like low-hanging fruit. I can get a lot of benefit with half an hour's work of cleaning this stuff and getting rid of the extra weight. So that's why it was enticing to me. So that's what I did. Let's see if I've got a picture of it after all right, I want to come back to this image. So here it is after I did some cleanup with it. I got rid of the hardwood blocks that are hot glued on. I got some soft balsa. I drilled it out so that it fits tightly on that carbon fiber tube, and I integrated a little bit of down and right thrust in that. So this is slid over the end of that tube, and actually glued it in place with goop instead of epoxy in case I ever need to pull it out later. And then there's a little bit of light ply on the front so that the wood screws have something to bite into. And then this is a little piece of soft balsa with some Velcro, soft Velcro glued to it. And that's also gooped onto the top of the tube. And same thing back here for the receiver. And I swapped out the speed control. This is a little 6 amp flight power ESC that I had. So it's much smaller than that other one. Anyway, just clean things up. There's a lot less wire there, a lot less clutter. And
you made fun of me for not painting the motor mounts on plywood overcast. I'm about to throw you under the bus.
Paint is weight, but to weatherproof it, I did soak it in thin CA.
Oh, all right.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so now going back to this. This is one of the elevators. And again, it's all carbon fiber frame, some sort of mylar covering. And this is how I received it. And you can see the Mylar was coming detached. I could have very easily, in hindsight, I could have very easily fixed this just by putting some glue on the carbon fiber and pulling it tight again. I didn't realize it at the time. I thought it was going to require more work. So I just pulled all that off. And my first plan was that I was going to replace it with some Doculam. You guys familiar with Doculam?
Yeah. I have some somewhere.
It's basically a thin, clear material. It's like iron-on covering because it's a plastic film that has a heat-activated adhesive on it. But it's Doculam is intended for going on documents to laminate them, hence the name. So I've got two different sizes of it. The heavier stuff I have was much heavier than what was on here. The lighter stuff that I have was pretty close. It was going to be clear instead of the red tint like this, but I was fine with that. So I cut out a piece and I put it on there and I'm like, okay, it's heat activated. So I'll just get an iron and I'll iron this stuff on here. Bad idea. And there's probably people out there laughing at me now knowing what happened, but I put a hot iron on stressed carbon fiber and I won't say it blew up, but it let go with extreme prejudice.
Delaminated?
Yep. So right here in the middle where I guess most of the stress is, I was running the iron over that and snap, play.
You heat up all the adhesive.
And it surprised me. And then I mentioned it to Thayer. He's like, well, yeah, you can't heat up.
Come on, man.
I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So after that, I found that I had the same diameter carbon fiber in my stash, so I made a new frame. And it ended up being a lot more work than I expected. But I rebuilt the whole thing. I found some tinted. At first, I found some super monocoat that was transparent red, but it was much heavier than the stock stuff. I kept digging through my stash of covering, and I found some that the colors a little bit different, but the weight was about the same, so I used that. And rather than putting it on with an iron, I got some UHU-Por adhesive, which is like contact adhesive that.
Oh, I've heard that in a while.
Yeah. So I've got some of that, and I bought it for use on foam models. That's what most people use it for. But it worked really well here. You smear it on, kind of like foam tack. You smear it on.
Or did I give that to you? Didn't I give you something like that?
You gave me some UHU.
Oh, okay. When I went to Germany, I picked some up. I thought I gave it. At least give somebody.
I have two bottles. I've got a big
what?
bottle or tube and a small tube.
Little tube. So maybe I think I gave both of you guys some.
Yeah, could be. Thank you, Fitz.
Okay.
It came in handy.
Yeah.
So you put it on and then you let it off gas for a minute, and then you just
you off gas it.
Yes.
Why are the walls moving?
One for the plane, one for me, two for the plane, three for me.
So then I put this other stuff on and you stick it and wrap it around a little bit, and it's fine. And it was a little loose. You're never going to get it perfectly tight. And I got a little crazy, and I started taking a heat gun to it, and then I would get rid of one wrinkle, and it would create another one somewhere else. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to stop before I break something else again. So it's not perfect, but it's more than good enough. And so that was it. Another thing.
Do we have a photo of that?
Of what? The completed one?
Finished? Yeah.
Do I? Nope. I didn't mean to go that far. No. Sorry. Imagine, do I have a picture of the original? Darn it. I didn't mean to leave that out. Sorry. I'll post a picture on Facebook. Imagine a vapor that's red and 3 times the size. And so with the specs that Thayer sent me yesterday, the original one, which when it was new, they were using outrunner brushless motors and lipos, but they were saying that it was like 6 ounces, a little more than 6 ounces, whereas this one is a little bit under 4. So I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe receivers were heavier then. I don't know. But I test flew it out in my front yard, and it is super duper slow. And so it's exactly what I was looking for. I think it's going to be fun for indoor flying this season.
Yeah, it looks like a great indoor plane.
Yeah. And one other thing I did to it, they weren't HS55s. They were like the generic 9-gram servos. And so
Tower Pro.
Torque. Yeah, something like that. So I had some old GWS 5-gram servos I put in there. So
Sorry, you went from high-tech 55s to GWS. Okay.
No, they weren't high-techs. They were the Tower Pros or something. But
I know it was like, but you didn't go to high-tech. I'm sorry, you were.
What's wrong with GWS?
I don't know. You like the vintage stuff.
I do, and I have it. So anyway, I'm real happy with it. It should be fun. When I test flew it out in the front yard, it was flying great for a minute or so, and then it started getting real pitchy and oscillating, and I barely got the thing back on the ground. I'm like, that's weird. It was like the CG shifted back in the middle of the air, but there's nothing that could shift. And then I figured out that the little, can we go back to my camera here? I'll stop sharing. The little post in the back, so the front and back of the wing just have these carbon rods. The rear one had come loose, so basically the trailing edge was just flopping. So I had variable incidence the whole time I was flying, and that explains the pitchiness. So anyway, I fixed that. I put a thumb screw in there so that it's big enough that it's kind of awkward to transport. So I put thumb screws in there to tighten it down so I can take the wing off and put it back on without it coming off when I don't want it to, knocking on wood. All right. Last one, third of three. You guys, my taco glider here, I built two of them. Two of the full-size ones. I built a prototype, and then based on what I learned from that, I built another one. And then when I still lived in Buffalo, the newer one crashed through an unfortunate chain of events, and I haven't fixed it. I had the parts, but I collected the parts from the crash, but I just put it aside and said I'll get to it later. I finally got to it. So interestingly, most of the foam parts I could just glue back on. So let me share my screen again. Bear with me. And here we go. So I didn't take a picture before I started repairing because I'm a dummy. I wish I had. But this is after I had glued the original pieces back in, and the very front of the plane, which is very round.
Zoom in.
All right.
Please.
Enhance.
Please for the viewers.
Enhance.
Enhance.
So the very front of it is a sheet of 3mm Depron that is wrapped around. So in this photo, you can see where the original brake lines were on the top and on the sides here. And I've already added that 3mm Depron. Go to the other side here. You can see where I've glued it back together and then used spackle to fill in the gaps and the wrinkles and sanded it a little bit. And you can also see where I've drawn the lines for the canopy framing. So basically, the structural repairs were done at this point. I also did some upgrades that I didn't like from before. Like I didn't like the way the battery is mounted, so I fixed that, but you can't see any of it. And you also can't see, because I just did that this afternoon, the hole where the tow line goes in. So I've got a tow release just behind the nose here. So all that's in there now. Let's see in the next one. I went to the local home improvement store, which around here is called Menards. And I'll have to take you guys when you come up for Oshkosh next time because I really like Menards instead of Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't know why, but they have a lot more. They sell groceries at Menards. The idea being contractors and people who go on the work site, they're going to get their lumber and also lunch at the same time.
Huh.
That's what I've heard anyway. So it's a neat place. They have lots of stuff and the prices are really good. And also they custom match paint. So I took a hunk of the foam that I was replacing, two hunks, one which was the gray on the bottom and then the olive drab from the top. Took that up there, they color matched it and some paint, some water-based latex. And so you can see here, I started painting it back on, and before you know it, it's like it never happened. So it's a completed repair. Not perfect, but plenty good enough for me, and it's ready to go back in the sky, ready to be towed on another mission. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to. I keep saying that I'm going to finish my Electrostreak and get started on the Eindecker. I keep finding all these other things to do first, but I promise I'm going to finish the
Electrostreak. Squirrel! Eindecker. Squirrel!
It's kind of like that, yeah. So, all right, so those were my three. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions about it, shoot me a message. I'm happy to share.
So Steven asked, was that the one he flew at Deep?
Yes, it would be. So when I went to an event a few months ago. I wanted to take the Waco, so I took the old fuselage and I modified it to use the new wing, which wasn't damaged in the crash. So I did some flipping and flopping. They were compatible enough that I could do that with just a little bit of tweaking. But yes, this would have been the one that you flew then. And has lots of flights on it with lots of different pilots. Kind of like Plywood Overcast. It's one you just pass the transmitter around. Yeah. So, and see, RC Rehabs with me. GWS is very fine servos. And these are these the ball bearing ones? They're 5 gram Pico standards. I don't know if they were ball bearing or not. But anyway, good stuff. All right, carry on. When do you guys chat?
Fitz, do we have a final print?
Yes, we do. Let me change cameras here real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, it is done. Let me pull the thing off. Yeah. Sorry, I can't get the camera any closer. Well, actually, I can. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, I can probably. Oops. There we go. So I didn't do anything fancy, so things are just going to fall apart. But you can see here's the whatchamacallit. Actually, I need to move it back. So there's the base plate. We've got the top plate. Things should just pop off for the most part. It's minor. There we go. Or should leave it on for the people. No, it'll weigh more.
No, you should take that.
It's it. I get all these extra pieces. You'll have to. Looks like the laser didn't quite cut through. There's a couple spots that it wasn't perfect, but it's good enough. Good enough for government work. And there's the
and free.
That's the motto we should have put on the side. That's good enough.
Good enough. There you go. Some thick and thin, and the other part.
All right.
So to get it, maybe I can bend this down a little bit. I'll put this back. I think. Oh, did that work?
Oop.
No.
Your camera just turned off.
What did it? Oh, shoot. The USB connector is a little wonky. Hold on, let me start it again.
Oh, there we go.
Hold on, let me config.
Oh, no, we're not there.
Hold on, I'm gonna select it. There we go. Sorry about that. I was trying to move the camera down so you can see what I'm doing, and it didn't. Yeah, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. All right, so the thing is real easy to put together. Just to show you real quick, you got base plate, and just pick one of the sides. That's all tab and slot like that. And there's then you got the top plate. It's also tab and slot.
Assemble Caddy, don't glue fingers.
Yeah, don't glue fingers. The other piece goes on, and you really don't need any instructions for it. It's super, super simple.
All right, so here's a question for you guys. Do you sand off the burn marks before you glue, or do you just go right through?
No, I haven't. You can, but I didn't bother with it. And this slides in as well, and it's got a little tab slot in the bottom. And that's it. And then you just glue it together. It's a little messy. That's coming off the laser printer. Sorry, you got my fingerprints on it.
Told you.
But hey, it's free.
You need to sign it, Fitz. Made with love and lasers.
And there you go. You got a little hook there, and that's it. So you'll get it as a flat pack and some glue. We'll stick it in a box. And,
so Winston, that one's yours.
So Winston, this is yours. This is the very first officially printed RC Roundtable glue caddy. Use it with honor.
And because I feel generous, let's go ahead and spin the wheel for the next winner.
Yes.
Let's do it right now. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Look at that. We're live, folks. Someone's going to win. Who's going to win the second one?
RC Roundtable was in there.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Michael Warren.
Hey,
Congratulations.
Mike, you will get one too. I will
email contact@rcroundtable.com. Send us your contact information. Terry will get it. Terry will respond. Terry will forward that to Fitz, and he will mail it to you.
Yeah, again, we will add in some glue.
Include the punch outs too. Those are handy for things.
You want the punch outs?
Come on, waste not, want not.
Well, after I punched them out, I guess next one I won't punch them out. All right, you'll get the punch outs.
Matthew, they should fit the Bob Smith oval bottles. Yeah.
Bob Smith. Yeah, give me they do. I put one in there. Sorry, I'd have to disconnect to go get it. I forgot to get one. I don't think my wires are long enough. But yes, I have some Bob Smith that I put in there too. So I sized it for the Bob Smith. I forgot the size. Maybe what do they come in? 1 ounce, 2 ounce?
1 ounce.
Remember
the
big 8 ounce things that they had at what was it? SEA or
SAE? Yeah. Yeah. Half a gallon of CA glue.
And some teams needed that much.
Yeah, true. But yeah, it'll fit several sizes. The two most popular sizes of the Bob Smith glue. That is the oval right here. If you haven't seen it, I specifically got some Bob Smith to put in there. These two, I believe, are the Star Bond, and I think also certain sizes of CA kicker. And these two are size for epoxy. I forgot this. What size is it? This is
standard.
It's a standard size. I was looking for the size.
Lee, it's looking kind of brown.
It does. I was noticing that.
What? Yeah, this is an older one.
Lee's gonna leave rude messages on there.
I'm gonna be shipping you some brand new epoxy.
It still kind of sort of works. Yeah, I was using it for trying to use it for something.
That's the motto. It kind of holds together.
Oh, 9 ounce bottles. For some reason, this one didn't say how big it was. That's odd. So, anyways, I will for our next winner, whoever it was, I will start the laser cutter and a little later and try to get it out to you guys this week if you get us their email. What's that?
What do you recommend gluing it together with?
I just used the medium CA.
All right.
Either epoxy or medium CA.
Yeah, I guess if you're going to stain it, maybe
medium or thick,
aliphatic, but otherwise
you can do aliphatic. It's up to you. It's it's plywood, whatever you want. I did medium CA because I was just lazy. 5-minute epoxy would work. Aliphatic glue will work, depending what you want to do. This one's glued. And this one we were talking about earlier, this one is a special one I did with our club logo for the Johnson Space Center Rail Control Club that we will present as a door prize at our Christmas party. So it's really neat to be able to just kind of grab a logo and stick it on there for different things. So that's pretty cool.
I just had a crazy idea.
What's that?
I shouldn't say this live, but how hard would it be to put the names of the winners on each one?
Not hard, but it's a little too late now.
I guess if you've already moved it. All right, just write it in crayon. Never mind.
No names. Not this time. It's an interesting idea. Good idea, but
personalized.
Personalized.
So I noticed that I missed a couple comments when I was yapping about my stuff. How far does it go? Fire ready to start. Yeah. Soldering with a gun. Yeah, probably. CA isn't weightless. Yeah, touche, Phil.
I saw that.
But I think it's lighter than paint. I don't know. That's my story.
Mostly weightless. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course it has weight to it.
Yeah. So. And Matt was he was asking how the covering sticks to the carbon fiber. With that Yoo-hoo, it's pretty stout. You can pull it off and it won't rip anything, but I don't think any natural force is going to pull it away. And when I was shrinking it, yes, it would start to change the shape of the carbon fiber. That's why I stopped doing it. And RC Rehab mentioned maybe using plastic wrap, like kitchen wrap, cling wrap. I thought of that, and maybe I'll try that on another one. But yeah, the transparent covering, whatever it was, seemed to work pretty well.
I'd forgotten I'd already printed out another one.
You're awesome.
So
okay.
I did it the other day. I forgot I did
He's
the other
ready
day.
to go.
That's right. I did. Yes. Yeah. So ready to go. Here's our two. Maybe I'll throw in some extra niblets for.
But wait, there's more.
There's always more.
For those of you who are still watching, don't log out. I just saw 2 people disconnect. Suckers. I've got one more giveaway item. We'll give that away shortly. Actually, I wanted to ask Fitz, did you have any other show and tell?
No, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else.
Nothing. Just a frickin' laser.
Yes.
So I'm going to do a show and tell, and then after the show and tell is one more giveaway. It's not the show and tell, so just don't get excited. But let me do the show and tell real quick for my side, and then we'll do this other giveaway that the other boys have no idea what it's about, but I'm going to use the people who've already put in hashtag Caddy, and we'll just go from the same list. But Fitz put this on his Instagram, or I'm not sure if it was your hobby view or it was your own personal one, but Fitz took a picture of this. It was your hobby view. So by the way, go follow Fitz on Instagram.
It's the Facebook.
And I showed this to him because I got this from my buddy Terry Foote. He is a collector of goodies. He goes to estate sales, and he had moved recently, and he just had a bunch of stuff that he had gotten. And he said, "You know what, Lee? I see that you have old radios behind you. I want to show you one that I'm going to give you." Ooh. And you know what, Fitz? I just got to tell you, sometimes when I'm around Fitz, I just love his reaction to things. And he cuddled this thing, and he was like, "Oh my god!" And I'm sorry. Let me bring my screen up. I apologize. I didn't do that.
I want to smell it.
Yeah, no kidding. So this is a Babcock radio from 1956. I think that was the year we found on the receipt. But don't you just love the control button and the radiation button? Okay.
That's a button, or is it
I'm not. Yeah, it's a push button. So I know some of you in the chat room may be familiar with these, and I'm not. Let me see if I can pull up comments real quick. Oh, it's just that. But so this is the on-off button to turn it on. There's no batteries in it, but this is a push button. And so our assumption is this is one of those radios that just toggled the rudder position so it would just kind of go in a cycle. So it would be right, center, left, center, right, center, left, center. And so you had to know how many times to push it, but radiation.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it. Yeah. So this, it's in great shape, guys. It really is. And so this will go behind me on my little shelf there. So I thank you so much, Terry, for thinking about me and doing that. But another thing that entertained Fitz, and again, I have the original boxes too. So here's little Babcock models.
Is this the receiver?
This is this. I know it's so. I don't want to take up too much time, but this is the piece of paper on the wiring diagram. You know,
is that hand drawn?
It's upside down. It's hand drawn. Yeah. So this is again from the 1950s.
Are those blood stains on it?
That's probably blood stains, yeah. Yeah, after you have to play with all this. And there's a manual. Just how rare is this?
Nice.
Okay, but now I gotta take out these little gems. This is the part that Fitz was like, "Oh my gosh."
Oh yeah.
You know what that is, Terry?
That looks like the receiver or the onboard component.
Yeah. Vacuum tube receiver.
And a relay.
Focus there. Sorry, guys.
Wow.
There we go.
And a tuning knob.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
That's one.
Front end.
There's two with some wiring.
Oh, geez.
Actually, I guess the wires. I thought this was connected, but maybe not. So, see if I can get this without hurting that. There we go. So some wiring, but then I have two.
Nice.
But that's just a good stuff to display. I'm not going to convert this to 2.4, folks.
So that transmitter had a model memory?
Half a model memory.
But, Fitz and I were saying, wouldn't it be so cool if you could just retro this and get it working as is? That's a job for Terry, right? But actually, no, what do you mean?
Well, not so much like old electronics like that. It would be neat to retrofit it so it looks old but functions with new equipment. I know some people do that, but I don't know if I have much interest in dusting off vacuum tubes to get going again. I'm just not up to speed on that stuff. I would be lost.
Now, we talked about crazy things we want to do, challenges we want to perform. One of them was give someone a mode 1 versus a mode 2. Reverse all the channels, see if you can take off, go around and land, stuff like that. But
I still want to do the randomizer on the elevator channel.
But how about getting a radio, a modern radio where it is a push button or it is rudder only?
Okay, you could program one to do that. We all have momentary switches on a radio.
Exactly. Well, and that's what I was saying. It's like, but repeat this. You got to add the radiation light though. Somehow you gotta redo that. But just fly Rotoroli.
Modern equipment, but used as if it were first generation.
Yeah.
That is an interesting project.
So
Okay,
that's how they did it, folks.
I'm in. I've got lots of polyhedral planes that would, let's do it.
All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's just kind of neat to have good friends that think about you like that. Fitz, get off your phone.
That's really cool.
Pay attention.
No, you said something. I was making a note of it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. All right. So I'll just jump right to the giveaway. Thanks, guys, for sticking around. It looks like our number went up. So I will say, if you want to enter this contest real quick and you haven't done so, do hashtag Caddy in the comment section. My boys already know about this, but I just felt festive for the holidays. I wanted to, again, pay it forward. And I mentioned earlier that I love Fitz's reaction to things. Fitz has always been good to something happens and Fitz just like gets all giddy or something like that. But I wish I had recorded Fitz's face when we wore these shirts, at best. And he just lit up like it was so amazing. So this is my shirt. It has been washed. But I'm giving it away. I'm giving away my I Know Fitz Walker shirt.
Off your back.
I might even sign it. Who knows? I might put it at the bottom of there. But someone out there is going to get this wonderful, custom, handmade I Know Fitz Walker shirt just for coming today, watching this show. And I know there are some of you that are like, oh, I want that shirt. Now, it is an extra large. That's all I got for you guys. I mean, if I have to, I'll make another one if there's like a side. Oh, I can't wear that, but I would love to give you guys.
It's an RC medium.
Well stretched. Love. Smells like best.
Everybody just unsubscribe from the chat.
Oh, no. Yeah. Wait, we're down to 2. Yeah, but this is a cool shirt. So anyway, I want to gift this to somebody. So here we go. Who is our, I don't see, lucky winner or sad contestant?
Dubious honor.
It'll probably be Phil. So here we go.
Hashtag no thanks.
For those of you who stuck around so long, thank you. It would be RC Roundtable.
Yeah, get to yourself.
George, our buddy George. He'll take it. Hey, George is our buddy from San Antonio. Hey, congratulations, George. Email us. I think we already have your contact information, but send it us again at contact@rcroundtable.com. And George, I will send you this shirt. If you want me to sign it, let me know. I'll sign it on the back or something for you.
Cool.
There you go.
So when you were showing that radio, I got a little bit nostalgic there because as part of the writing on the front, it says made in the USA, which probably all electronics that you would have used back then were made in the USA, or electronics you used in the USA would have been made there. And that was true, I think, probably through the 80s and well into the 90s. Because I remember when I was racing RC cars, the speed controls we had, the chargers we had, probably not the radios, but a lot of that equipment was made in the U.S. by Novak, Tekken. And so, yeah, right. I was looking through, related to RC10 stuff, looking through some forums, and people had vintage electronics that went with it, and everything said made in the USA. And it's just not to get too, what's the word? I don't know.
Emotional, nostalgic.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, too overly patriotic about it, but it would be cool if.
Egoistic.
Yeah, if there were still things like that made in the U.S., it just doesn't happen anymore. A lot of things are designed in the U.S. and then made somewhere else, but it would be cool if we still had some of that in-house manufacturing expertise here. So,
of course, most of the radios were still made overseas back in the day. You had Futaba, Airtronics,
right?
JR.
So, yeah. I'll have to look and see if I still have any of. I know I've got a couple of my old speed controls from back then. I think my chargers are probably long gone, but yeah, it'd be cool to see if any of that stuff still exists.
I still have my very first Astroflight charger I ever got getting into RC. It's my RC
I do
car.
have. Okay, so I've got several Astroflight chargers. A Nike had one, and then the first generation LiPo fire starters.
Didn't have one of those, but yeah. That was dark days when they came out.
And then along came the Blinky, and
Oh yeah, I got one of those somewhere.
I got a few of them. I still use mine all the time. All right. Did we hit all the things that we're planning to hit?
We have all the things.
Any last comments or questions for us before we close out for tonight? Thanks, guys. It's been fun. You guys have been
We're pass out of all the smoke.
Well, and we certainly had fun doing this. And I think, pardon me, I think now that Fitz has got this thing running, we might come up with other giveaway items too to build with this, or come up with because Fitz made me something I don't know, maybe 2 years ago with his 3D printer. It was this nice little rib guide, and I mentioned that to him. I was like, that'd be something cool to make with plywood on your laser cutter. So it's got a nice right angle to it, and so you can hold things at 90 degrees or 40, was it 90 actually? Sorry.
Yeah, 90.
And
90, I think it had a 45 snap.
Yeah, you had a 45 degree angle, but you could hold the ribs at 90. But it's just something that's on my workbench that I keep. So stuff like that we'll play with, and if you guys come up with other ideas and stuff that Fitz can cut, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So we have new toys. We want to play with them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been using my 3D printer. I've made some parts with it.
All right. So it's time to take a checkpoint here. My heater is running. Do you hear any abnormal ambient noise?
I do not. Listeners, do you? I actually turned my volume down on my headset a little bit.
Okay.
But no, you sound fine.
Okay, good. So we'll try this again then.
What I do hear is Fitz goofing off. See how we have his undivided attention? Come on, man.
What? I'm making notes.
You're making, make them later.
And I'll forget.
Hey, Eric, thanks for joining us. I appreciate that.
Yep. Thanks to everybody for joining us.
I speak on behalf of the RC Roundtable. I'm sure we all appreciate it.
Yeah. We started a little bit later to try to accommodate the West Coasters. So hopefully it doesn't make the East Coasters too late. But,
I don't want the East Coast beating up on the West Coast and vice versa, but was this a good time for everybody, pushing it to 7:30 instead of 7?
Yeah.
So if it worked out, especially if it worked out for you East Coast guys, if that's okay, then this might be a time we push it to, because we like to help out everybody to come in and join and chat with us. We obviously, this was a show and tell day and a giveaway day, but we really encourage you guys to give us topics to discuss and talk with you guys, and especially let's share information. We may have some people in the, well, it's likely we'll have people in the chat room who have the right information versus our guest. Highly questionable.
Yeah.
I knew Phil. See, Phil, this was for you. I was looking out for you, buddy. That's what friends do. I pushed it out just a little bit for Phil, so glad that worked out.
Yeah.
Any last comments, gents?
I don't think so. Is this our last for the year, or are we going to try to fit one in?
Well, this is our last live show of the year, but we will do, I'm sure, another audio within the next week or two.
Really? Okay. I'm on board.
We will.
Okay.
And that being said, since you guys are still here in the chat room, email contact@rcroundtable.com if there's a topic you'd like us to discuss for end of year wrap up.
All right. So Fitz, I think we're ready for you to carry us out.
All right. I don't know what else I can say other than thanks everybody for participating in the live show. We really appreciate it. I'd love to hear from all you guys. And it was a fun night. Give away some stuff, and maybe we'll give away some stuff next live show if we can think of anything. As Lee said, send us your ideas, and maybe
I can find some more stuff back here.
Right?
More laundry to go through.
That's how we offload all our junk. And so is one this little chicklet. All right. As I think Lee said, you can contact at rcroundtable.com is our email. Leave us a like on the YouTube channel or on the various podcasts as well. Help the algorithm so we can be somebody and get notified and that kind of stuff. All right, but thanks again. Hope if we don't talk to you for a while, have a very Merry Christmas, and as somebody in chat said, Happy Hanukkah. And New Year's and so forth. This is building season.
Festivus, whatever you got.
Festivus. I hope some of you get some good. In fact, that's a topic we should have. Let us know what you got for Christmas.
Maybe that's it. Yeah,
2024.
what you got. But this is building season, so build something stuff for the new year, and enjoy your friends and family. Everything, Adam. You missed everything.
You missed everything.
You missed everything.
Sucker. All right.
Sucker. I have no sympathy for you, Adam. You were late. All right. And on that note, speaking of being late, we've run for quite a while. Thanks everybody for listening to us. And any last words, guys, before we blow this taco stand?
Nope, I'm all good.
All right, everybody, have a good night, and we will see you later. Bye.
Please visit our website at rcroundtable.com. That's where you will find all of our podcast episodes. You can also find a little bit of background information about the show host and leave comments and suggestions about the show. There are links to a few of our favorite vendors and also links to our various social media accounts. Thank you for watching and listening.